Hello, you guys. How's it going? Welcome to my channel. My name is Elise, and today we are going to be talking about the great, the amazing Tiffany D. Jackson. So we're going to be talking about Tiffany D. Jackson. Tiffany D. Jackson is one of my favorite authors. I don't know if I can classify her yet as a all-time favorite author, but she is a auto-buy author for me. She is someone I've enjoyed all of her books that I've read. And so we're going to be talking about her today, and we're going to be talking about her 6 novels. So she has done some other projects like the Malcolm X book with Malcolm X's daughter. I think she has like a children's picture book out, and also she is someone who is in a few different like short story anthologies as well. So we're not going to be talking about those. We're going to be talking about like her 6 novels. Just diving right in here. Her debut novel came out in 2017, allegedly. So allegedly came out in 2017. It currently has a 4.11 rating on Goodreads. Me personally, I gave this a 3.5. And so and before I get started, I do want to just let you guys know I'm not going to be covering trigger warnings in this. If you are interested in one of these, I would suggest looking up the trigger warnings. I will say all of her books have triggers in them. So if you need that, go ahead and look those up. But so in allegedly, we are following Mary, and Mary was accused of killing a baby when she was 9 years old, and this is a crime that she was convicted of, and she spent 6 years in jail and is currently living in a group home. Well, Mary has now found herself in the position where she is pregnant, and the state thinks that she is a danger to her baby that she will be having, and so has decided that when she has her baby, the state is going to take her baby. And in this book, you are following Mary as she is trying to clear her name of this crime so that she can keep her child. I do know for this book, a lot of people had an issue with the ending. I can say I did not like the ending of this book either. It completely threw me off. But other than that, this book is a really, really solid debut. And, you know, not only are you following as Mary is trying to clear her name, but also of, you know, trying to figure out what actually happened that day. Was it Mary? Was it her mom? Like, who did that? And so there is a little bit of a mystery element to this as well. And then in 2018, Monday's Not Coming was published. This currently has a 4.25 on Goodreads. I rated it a 4. In this novel, you are following Claudia, and Claudia's best friend, Monday, has gone missing. No one seems to know where she is. She's not in school. She's not at home. Claudia has talked to her parents. She's talked to Monday's parents. She's talked to teachers. She's talked to everyone. And the problem is, no one seems to care that Monday is just vanished off of the face of this earth. And so you're following Claudia as she's trying to figure out what happened to her best friend, because she knows that there is no way that Monday just got up and left and wouldn't say anything to her. You know, and Claudia is just this like young girl, and everybody keeps telling her to drop it, but she is, you know, very persistent in the fact that like her best friend would not just up and leave. I really really enjoyed this book. You are in like 3 different timelines, which does make it a little bit confusing at first, but you get used to it after a while and you get used to the 3 different timelines. And this one is just like a really solid mystery. You're really just like figuring out the mystery, following the clues, and trying to figure out what happened to Monday. So I really enjoyed this. And then Let Me Hear a Rhyme was published in 2019. It currently has a 4.15 on Goodreads. I rated it a 3.5. And in this book, you are following Quadir and Jarrell, who are best friends. And they are seeking to make their other best friend, Steph, famous. The only issue is Steph was actually killed. And so after Steph's funeral, Quadir and Jarrell, stumble upon some of Steph's mixtapes, and he is by far the best rapper they know. And they enlist help of Steph's little sister, Jasmine, to make him famous and possibly get him a record deal. And they end up putting his music out there. And in this, you are also, figuring out what exactly happened to Steph as well. And, things get a little bit crazy. For this one, I definitely recommend the audiobook. There is rapping in this book, and the audiobook narrator actually does some rapping. So I definitely recommend the audiobook for this. I really enjoyed this one as well. Once again, we have kind of that mystery element in here as to what exactly happened to, Steph, and possibly like what is going to happen once everybody realizes, the music that they're listening to and this rapper that they are trying to sign is no longer alive. And then Grown was published in 2020. It currently has a 4.27 on Goodreads, and I rated this a 5-star. I absolutely love this one. In this book, you are following Enchanted. Enchanted is 17 years old, and she has dreams of becoming a big star, of being a singer. And so Enchanted auditions for a singing competition, and that is where she is discovered by Corey. Corey is a 28-year-old singer, who is like famous singer who takes a liking to Enchanted, and their relationship quickly turns into something that is not only completely inappropriate, but becomes very intense and abusive as well. This book is very much inspired by the events that happened with R. Kelly. There are some things that happened in here that I directly remember coming from like the R. Kelly documentaries and stuff like that. But this book is amazing, and there is also an added mystery element in here because in the very first chapter of the book, you are in kind of present day, and Corey is dead and Enchanted is there, and then you go back and follow their relationship, and there is the added mystery of like what happened to Corey. So there is that mystery element as well. And then White Smoke was published in 2021. This is Tiffany, her debut into a little bit more horror, psychological thriller aspect of things. This currently has a 3.85 on Goodreads. I rated it a 4. In this, you are following Marigold. And Marigold's mom recently started a new job and was recently married as well. And her new job came with a free house, and it's kind of like, what's the catch? When everything seems to be going fine, and then, in their new house, things start to go missing, shadows kind of start to appear, and there's even a really strange foul smell. This is more of a kind of like a haunted house book. I can say personally, this book literally terrified me. I was terrified, but I am not someone who reads horror books, so maybe that's why. But I very much enjoyed this one as well. And lastly, The Weight of Blood was published this year in 2022. I This currently has a 4.32 on Goodreads, and I rated this a 5-star. I absolutely loved it. In this book, you are following Maddie, and Maddie is white passing. Well, one day a situation with the rain happens, and her hair gets wet, and then once it dries and frizzes up, it is exposed that Maddie is not white, but she is biracial. And the students in her school, take to some bullying to her. Well, video evidence of this bullying goes viral online, and the school leaders are trying to figure out what to do. Well, this school has segregated prom. And so they decide that they are going to throw an integrated prom for everyone. And also in this book, this is a Carrie retelling. And so there is that added element of Maddie is starting to experience possibly some supernatural powers and abilities. I loved it. I've never read or seen Carrie, but I think that this was a solid retelling. So those are all 6 of Tiffany D. Jackson's novels, and one of the things that I really just like admire about her writing is her ability to, talk about the experience of being a Black woman in each of these situations. There's always that added element into these stories, and it's a very real thing. If you haven't read Tiffany D. Jackson's books before, or if maybe you read one and one wasn't right for you, hopefully this guide can help you figure out which one to read or where to get started. If you are someone who is really into like horror, I would definitely recommend like The Weight of Blood. I think that this takes a horror novel and just adds so much to it, and adds the added element of like race into it. If you are someone who maybe doesn't read horror, but you are thinking about getting into some horror stuff and you're kind of a horror newbie like me, I would recommend White Smoke. I think that this one, it is her lowest rated novel, but I think that's because there are a lot of people who aren't really into horror who went into this and didn't find it scary. But if you are, someone who is new to that genre, this could be a little bit of a taste for you to get into it. If you are someone who's like really into like mysteries, I think that the best one for you to read would be Monday's Not Coming. I think that this one is like the most closest to a traditional mystery of, you have the mystery that you're trying to figure out and you're just following the clues and going along with it. Plus, this one has a pretty interesting twist at the end as well. So I would say that this one is for our mystery readers out there. If you are someone who is like really into some hard-hitting YA, I would say Grown is the way to go. This one is extremely hard hitting. This one deals with such a sensitive topic. And you're dealing with Enchanted, who is really just kind of coming into her own as a woman, as a young woman. And and yeah, this one is extremely powerful and very hard hitting. So if you are into hard hitting YA, I would suggest going with Grown. If you are maybe not so much into the mysteries, this one I feel like is probably her least mystery focused of them all. And also, if you're into music, if you're into kind of like that 90s hip hop scene, I think that this would be the best one to go with. Let Me Hear a Rhyme. I mean, there is a mystery in here, but it's not the main focus. And you're kind of following just like this friendship amongst these, teenagers, and maybe even a little bit of a romance in there as well. So, yeah, I would suggest going with this one. This one is the least mystery of them all. If you're someone who is into like a character study, a very like character driven plot, I would go with Allegedly. This one I think is a great character study. And then you also have in here different excerpts of interviews with, psychologists and psychiatrists, and like inmates in the jail and different things like that, and like magazine articles and stuff like that. And they're all just like talking about like who is Mary and why did she do what she did, and really just like they are studying her character. And so that being in here, I think just makes this such a good character study on who Mary is. And yeah, I think it's like really, really interesting, especially with that added element in here. So if you are someone who is really into a character driven plot and a character study, I would go with Allegedly. Okay, you guys. So, yeah, overall, I think that Tiffany D. Jackson is literally just such an amazing writer. And for me personally, I feel like her writing is just getting better and better and better with time. And she is an auto-buy author for me, and I cannot wait to see what she, publishes next, because it's just getting better and better. And her latest one to me is the best of them all. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite Tiffany D. Jackson novel is as well. I, would love to know. And if you want to see more videos from me, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.